Hi folks, quick update from me on the campaign against coronavirus. First of all, in my own case, although I'm feeling better and I've done my 7 days of isolation, alas, I still have one of the symptoms, a minor symptom of I still have a temperature, and so in accordance with government advice, I must continue my self-isolation until...
At times it can be difficult not to get swept along with the NHS wave that has gripped Britain. There are clapping and cheering and stories of Nightingale hospitals coming on stream with thousands of beds. But the same dynamics at work here as in the US, i.e. a high percentage of people on ventilators eventually dying, and a surge in the number of patients. So one should take media stories focused on the 15,000 or so of extra beds across Britain's Nightingale hospitals with a pinch of salt. It's likely they will not turn out to be anywhere near as effective as people believe them to be should they end up in a Nightingale hospital. So more publicity stunt of sorts than building effective extra capacity. This video is part of a series of in-depth analysis, the whole of which has first been made available to patrons who support my work. So for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecasts, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month. My trend forecast as of the 22nd of March concluded in the UK trending towards 123,000 infected tested positive and 8,100 deaths by the end of April 2020. Last week, the number of infected was 19,522, which is marginally better than my forecast of 21,777. And actual number of deaths reported of 1,228 was also marginally better than my forecast of 1,447. One thing to note though is that the infections and deaths number cover different time periods, i.e. deaths reported today are as of 5 PM yesterday, whilst infections are as of 9 AM today. Therefore, a small adjustment is necessary to be made on the number of deaths to bring both timings in line with the release of infections data. Therefore, the latest data as of 5th of April has the number of infected at 47,806, which is actually less than my forecast of 52,000 by now. But deaths are running well ahead of forecast at 5,244 against 4,217 forecast. That results to a shockingly high case fatality rate of 11%. Were this trend to persist, then the UK will be heading for about 13,000 deaths by the end of April. So both infections and deaths are tracking my trend forecast, and thus I expect the number of deaths to start moderating over the next couple of weeks, as it looks like the UK is going to plateau around mid-April and then start to decline the following week. However, coronavirus reality is not as promising as the data suggests, as the official UK data is not counting deaths outside of hospitals as a consequence of COVID-19, and so the number of deaths is probably underreported by at least 25%. That and the hospitals will continue to fill up with new cases of COVID-19 over the coming weeks, with signs that Britain's healthcare system is already starting to buckle as police have started cording off hospitals such as Watford, which is no longer accepting any new patients that is likely to be replicated across the UK this week. So this is definitely not the time to get infected and fall ill in a week or two's time. So everyone should avoid the temptation to break the lockdown, to go out and enjoy the sunshine, because the NHS won't be in any shape to treat you. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson, the idiot in number 10, who a month ago was joking about shaking hands with everyone in hospital with COVID-19 patients, is himself admitted to hospital 10 days after being diagnosed with COVID-19, and 10 to 14 days tends to be critical for COVID-19 sufferers as to whether they will have a mild, i.e. non-hospitalization case, or whether life-saving interventions are necessary. So whilst he is an idiot who acted far too late, that has likely cost probably 10,000 lives, nevertheless this is the worst time for the nation to be rudderless going into the peak of the coronavirus storm. So hopefully the hospital admission is just precautionary rather than implying something worse, as this disease is unforgiving to those who end up on ventilators. And lastly, Taiwan. If there is one nation to emulate, then that should be Taiwan. A nation of 24 million people with just 355 cases and 5 deaths. The secret to which appears to be effective containment and the wearing of face masks. So, everyone should start wearing face masks, maybe distributed by the government, though our governments have shown themselves to be completely incompetent at containment. And again, the whole of this extensive analysis was first made available to patrons who support my work. So, for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecasts, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month. And ensure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel for the next video in this series, though it's not guaranteed that all of the analysis will be converted into videos. That's another reason to become a patron.